Hi, I'm ActPub, and today I'm going to be doing a video about doll articulation. So this will probably be part one just because there are so many dolls out there and so many different forms of articulation. I've done this video in the past, but I decided to do it again because I'm so fascinated by this topic. Also, my hair is in a messy bun. I'm sorry that it looks like that. Anyways, there's gonna be a few disclaimers, but I won't mention them in other parts. Number one, I'm just doing fashion dolls, so I'm excluding bigger ones, 18-inch. Maybe eventually I'll show them and talk about them, but this is fashion dolls. Number two, there's a lot of them out there. I don't own them all. There's G3, Monster High. I don't have those yet. I would love to have them, but I don't have them. Actually, I just got Frankie, but they're not out of the box yet, so keep that in mind. I don't own every doll. I would love to, but I don't own everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing this video because I love particular forms of articulation. I think I have my one that if a doll has it, I tend to really like that doll. And you know, example, Monster High, if you say Monster High body type, they've had many different forms of articulation. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to be talking about them. This is going to be part one. Again, I don't know how many parts there will be, so sorry about that. But yeah, let's just jump right in and start with what I would assume is the most known form of articulation. Oh, I did want to do another disclaimer, which I will mention it as I'm talking about these, but you'll see. Basically what I consider articulation. So we're starting out with 5 points of articulation. The most known doll that uses it is Miss Barbara. So here is my Barbie. This is one of the ocean. I love the ocean, where they're made out of ocean trash, which I love. I think that's so fun. Also, sorry if any of my dolls are messy. I tried to use most of the ones that are fixed up, but they're in piles here, so her hair is a little messy. It's also not the greatest quality of hair, but sorry about that. Anyways, 5 points for articulation. This is what I consider articulation, and I'm going to show it, and I might even talk about it as I go on with dolls having different forms. Articulation is posability. So if the articulation helps with posing the doll, then I'll count it. So example, this doll can move her head, but she can't tilt it. I'm only counting that as one. I know that doesn't make any sense because that does help with posability, but I'm not going to count tilting as another thing, but I will mention if they can tilt their head or not, but I'll show. So here, 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, and 5. Now this Barbie can sit. Example of a doll that also has 5 points of articulation but lacks a lot of that is this doll. So she also can only move her head this way. She can only move out. She can't move this way, and then she can barely move her legs, but they still move. She also sits weird, that's her sitting. This also has 5 points of articulation. I just wanted to mention that. I'm not counting extra, if they can tilt their head or if they can move it out, because that'll get confusing. My doll fell. It confuses me. Anyways, Miss Barbara's, they have 5 points of articulation. I also want to say, with including Miss Barbara's, or the newer ones typically have 5 points of articulation, I am including Ken's, Skipper's, Stacy's. Usually with what this era Barbie does, they'll follow through. So if they have bending knees, Ken typically has bending knees, Skipper has bendable knees. Okay, does that make sense? So when I say Barbie, I also am including those subgroups. I'm not having them be here. Sorry, that would make it very difficult to do. Anyways, Barbie, 5 points of articulation, most commonly known for that. Who also has 5 points of articulation? Quite a few dolls. My goodness, big pile of dolls here. My dolls are going on the ground for now. Who also does? We're gonna also count this as a separate doll because I think she deserves to get her own little group. She's not in the greatest condition, but this Barbie does. So the first Barbie, I don't know if she's one of the first, but she's pretty old, and she also has 5 points of articulation, movement at the head, arm, and leg. Eventually they got the ability to have bend and snap knees. They also got the ability to twist, but we're not talking about that now. We're talking about 5 points, which is those. I feel like the other common dolls that have 5 points of articulation would be, in my opinion, the most common after Barbie are the Disney dolls, the ones that are made by Hasbro, even the ones made by Mattel. This might be Mattel. Yeah, this is Mattel, but Hasbro also made dolls with 5 points for articulation, movement at the head, arms, and legs. Miss Merida, love her. 5 points for articulation, her as well. Next, who else? I literally added her in because I wanted to show, like, she's got these legs, so it's not added articulation because she can also have lots of stuff. That's probably why I also want to show, look at her, she's my childhood doll. She's in pretty good condition to be a childhood doll, in my opinion. Not this dress, though. Also, this dress is beat up. I should really gather my thoughts. I should write stuff down. Who else? Okay, one of the dolls in here, I'm questioning if she should be in here. But we've got Hasbro Equestria Girls. Not all of them have this articulation. But this is one of the, I think, the newer-esque ones, maybe. Is that correct? 5 points for articulation. The bend does not count as articulation because it obviously does not move. Also has it. Who else? We've got budget line dolls. So Monster High's budget line has 5 points of articulation. They cannot move really anywhere else. So like when people are like, I like Monster High, maybe they're referring to this kind of articulation. They are not. I don't think that lack of articulation is that bad. I have ones that I prefer, and it's not this. I do actually like these because nonetheless they look nice, postable if you're displaying them, like, you know, but playability does get a little affected. Ever After High also has that 5 points of articulation for their budget lines. I have Holly O'Hare from the ballet line. Really wish she had more articulation. Next, this is the one that I question if I should put her here or not, because I think the other ones I didn't. Her feet come off, so that considers more articulation in my opinion. Yeah, I'll leave her, ignore her for now. This is Zuru dolls. They have more articulation, or they have 5 points. Not all of them do, but some of them do. She does not have bend and snap knees. Her knees are rubber, but they do not, like, they don't move. Next, who else is pretty common? If you've ever seen these, they're made by Spin Master. I've done some reviews on some of the dolls. They're the Harry Potter Spin Master dolls. They also have only have 5 points of articulation. Don't fall. Keeping up with some more of those budget line ones, we've got Project MC Squared. Oh my goodness, I literally forgot to add the other Project MC Squared. Anyways, Project MC Squared, also their budget lines have 5 points of articulation. Quite a few of the budget line ones, I think, like articulation, it costs a little bit, so to like lower that cost, can't be much because they also lower their cost and quality as well. This is Marvel Rising dolls. Oh, I gotta fix your hair, Miss Ma'am. Marvel Rising dolls also lacks articulation. Not only that, but they got painted on legs. Marvel Rising, 5 points of articulation. She's got more. Why is she in this pile? I'm sorry. This would be Winx Club. I think Witty makes this one. I think she's made by Witty, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the Winx dolls, not all the Winx dolls, but more of the budget line dolls. Also only have 5 points for articulation. Who else? We're coming down to the last few. We've got Moxie Girls. I didn't know that they made ones with only 5 points of articulation. But yeah, they do apparently. That exists, and they're actually really cute, like I'm not mistaken. Also, their hair is not the greatest quality. I think that's what I struggle with her. She needs a ponytail to make it look better. Anyways, Moxie Girls, 5 points of articulation. We're coming down to the last two, which are both made by MGA. We've got Novi Stars. Now, keep in mind, I think there are some other Novi Stars, but I only have this one, and then I got 2 others recently that are not fixed up. They only have this articulation. I don't know if there's others with more. I only have these ones. But again, 5 points of articulation. Yes, they can move their... Don't break their legs. Oh, they can move their legs a lot. Sorry. Move math ahead. And then lastly, the other one made by MGA would be Na 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 Surprise. Has 5 points of articulation. They also have like very little articulation, like their legs move like that. So, but nonetheless, 5 points for those dolls. Quite a few dolls have 5 points of articulation. Now, I'm going to be coming back to going up, but we're going to go down with articulation. You might think that 5 points is like the lowest it can go, but that's not true, because there's quite a few dolls that have no movable legs. So like, here's her legs. They don't move. They're stuck. So this one has 3 points for articulation. Quite a few of the ones that have gimmicks have less articulation. So she can move at her head and her arms. 3 points of articulation. Nonetheless, I think that she's absolutely gorgeous. Like, I really like how she looks, but I have quite a few of the Barbie movie dolls that their legs don't move at all because they've got like these plastic skirts here, and their legs are literally stuck in there. So yeah, you complain about 5 points, you could have less. Nonetheless, I still think they're really cool. Sorry, I grabbed her by the neck. She's really cool. Let's go up with going to 6 points of articulation. Yes, we're going to be moving up one by one, practically. I gotta get them because they're down here. There's actually only one. This doll has, yes, 6 points of articulation, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. So let's take a look. This is my Avastar. I was actually really excited when these first came out. I still think they're really cool, and I wish that they did better because I actually really like them. So she has movement at the head, the arm. It's with their clothing, they can't move as much, so just keep that in mind that she does have more articulation than this, but her clothing are making it difficult. Also, the stickers do come off. Just keep that in mind. Some of them don't. Like, this has stayed on. Anyways, doesn't matter. She has movement at this arm as well. I know it's lacking the legs, which would make that 5 points. Did I say 6? She's got 7. I'm so sorry. Whoopsie daisy. I've got no 6. She's got 7. I love counting. We have quite a few in this lineup. And then she's got movement at just the hands. If you see me pause in between this, it's because I'm organizing them. Because some of them, the thing about this is that 7, there's so many different ways that they did 7 points of articulation or 9 points. Like, I think that's so interesting. So here's my Avastar. Going along with that 7 points, I find it interesting that those hands really are the added articulation, but that's not the only ones that decided to do this. This is made by MGA. I can never remember what it's called. It's called like Best Friends. Friends, I don't know, something like that. Made by MGA. I actually really like how these dolls look and I want more. But she also has that same articulation as that other one. Movement at the head, arm, and legs. So then it would also be the other side as well that moves. And then her hands move. I don't know if you can see that. They can also pop off. I find this interesting that they like have this. Like, I don't know what the added that articulation is supposed to be for, unless for her it's supposed to be like you can pop her hands off to put clothes on, but hers, they don't need it, but I only have one, so I don't know the added articulation. I don't know why they have that. The other one that has that same exact articulation would be this mini. There's a few, oh, she's got a stain. There's a few dolls in this like lineup, quite a few actually, and they also have that 5 points of articulation plus hand movement. I don't know, I find that one interesting that they have that. There is liquid. It's 100%. This mini, I don't know if anyone has had one of these, like oil comes out of her shoes. I don't know if that's normal, but like, do you see that? Yeah, I don't understand. After cleaning it up, I've stuffed paper towels in there. I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but like they're always oily and I've like soaked them. Anyways, if you know, let me know. Next, I have looked at like how long this is, and this is gonna be a while. There's gonna be way more than 2 parts. Next, we have another way that they did 7 points of articulation, which is with this doll. This doll has, similar to that other Barbie movie doll, she has a gimmick, so her legs do not move. How she gets 7 points then? She has movement at the head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So head, arm, elbow, and wrist all move on both sides, and then no movement at the legs. I find that such an interesting thing that they do. Also, she can take photos. So gimmick dolls, they lose articulation, but also can gain articulation. Anyways, the last group of that 7 point of articulation is these dolls that I'm going to show, and they have the same form of articulation, so I'm just going to show it with Harley. She movement at the head, the arm, and the leg, and then they can bend at the knee, and they all have this one. So we've got DC superhero girls, and I actually think that there are some DC superhero girls budget line that only have 5 points of articulation, so just keep that in mind. I don't have them, but I do think that there are some. There are some Winx dolls that have that form of articulation. Sorry for Flora's hair. That have this. Not all of them, but some of them have that articulation. We've got Lottie Dot dolls who have that articulation as well. We're starting to build a pile up here, and some Barbies actually have it as well. Fun. And then some of the later, the G2 budget line dolls for Monster High have that form of articulation as well. They can bend at the knees. She's wearing Jade's shoes. I actually really like how that one looks. And then I have a Mycene doll who has that articulation for a long time, and her shoes just came off. For a long time, I used to think that she got rebodied, but I think she's the roller skating one, and her thing's coming out. See, this is why every once in a while I have to take all my dolls down and fix them, because her hair piece is coming out. Anyways, yes, she also has that articulation. If you know which one this is, let me know, but I think it's the rollerblading one. Anyways, next. Okay, so then we're gonna hit one more point of articulation before I stop this and go to part 2. So just, yeah, I know 4 is not that many, but there's just so many dolls that have articulation. So we've got 8 points for articulation, and quite a few of these are done differently, right? Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do one more before I close off to do part 2. Also, I missed Mal. Some of the Descendant dolls also only have 7. This is the 7 that I just showed, like the Lottie Da had, and the Winx, and that one Mycene doll. I'm so sorry, I literally missed a whole group of 7s because I counted wrong. I don't think that they have 8 points of articulation. I'm pretty sure they only have 7. You're like, you're missing a whole group. I am. It's very similar to the ones that I just showed. Example, we'll bring that Mycene back up. Except they can actually fully bend, and these ones cannot. So I will show. So starting off with my childhood doll, which is this one, she can move at the head, the arms, the legs, and then the difference between this one and this one is this one has bend and snap knees. So her bend, even though it counts as articulation, is lacking, and that's what all of these dolls have here. So we have Mycene. This is the typical form of Mycene. I'm not counting their feet since they have Barbie feet underneath, unlike some other dolls that we will get into. So same articulation. Dolls of that time also use the bend and snap knees. So this is, I don't know who makes it. I don't know if it's like Mattel. What does this say? I can't see. It does not say what makes it. But this is a, I can't remember what, Spice doll. My goodness, Spice Girls. They also use that articulation as well. We have the Disney dolls as well. Quite a few of them have this that I own, at least, have the same articulation with that bend and snap knees. And then actually some Zuru dolls, and I think this is the furthest that Zuru dolls go up to in articulations. They also have a little bit of a bend and snap knees. Not every single one of them do, but quite a few of them do. So that is 7 points of articulation, and let's go to 8 points of articulation because that's what I was getting to before being like, what? So 8 points for articulation, just literally adding 1. So it has that same articulation as the other dolls, except they, like I said, add 1. I could not find any that have those hard, like stiff knees, that have like actual like joint bend that also have swivel waist, but I'm sure that they exist. So keep that in mind. Sorry, I'm looking over here to look to see if I have any, but I can't see any. I hope it makes sense what I just said. Sorry if it doesn't. Anyways, we've got movement at the head. This is a 1988 body, I think is what it is. 1966 body. Sorry, 88, no, 66 body. So that's what this like is, a standard articulation. So movement at the head, arm, waist, legs, they both move, and then bend and snap knees as well. Also, sorry about some of these dolls in rough condition. I received her from someone else, so I had to fix her. But anyways, we have quite a few that also have that. I have some Disney dolls that have this. I'm assuming Mattel made them, but this one just says Disney. I'm not seeing like Mattel stamp on them. This is a Tinkerbell doll, same articulation, has that joint movement. And then we've got 2 others. I counted her because she looks significantly different. I couldn't tell if maybe a different company made her. It just says Disney. This is, I assume, Cinderella, but same. You can really see that articulation here. We've got that waist movement as well. And then again, bend and snap knees. I almost go, does she not have them? She does, but they're not very good, which is typically what bend and snap knees are. Also, she is not fixed up. That's why she's nude. And then we also have Jack's Pacific has a few holiday dolls, and they also have that same articulation with that waist movement and those bend and snap knees as well. So that would be the dolls that have 8 points of articulation. I know that we didn't get to many dolls in this video, so I do apologize for that. All the different forms of articulation, but stay tuned for part 2, part 3, however many there are, to see the rest of them, because I think articulation is such an interesting thing, and I am fascinated with like why they choose to, you know, articulate the knees but not, you know, the feet, or why they choose not to articulate the upper arms. There's some that we're going to get into more and you're going to really see, and I'm like, why do they do that? Specifically the one whose arm, like hand you can take off, like why they do that. My only assumption is that so that she can like maybe easily put clothes on, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm ActuPow. Thanks for watching. Tell me your thoughts about these. Tell me if I've missed any so far. I probably have. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.